As I was thinking about the intro for this video, I thought about how this year marks 4 years since graduating high school. And it's crazy because each day goes on, and it's not until one chapter comes to an end that you start to think about when this chapter even started. In this case, it was 4 years ago. And I think the only way I can help it feel slower is when I think about everything that I've done during that time frame. But when I really start thinking about being present, I realize it's more than just soaking in everything in the right now, as people say it. I think it applies to so much more in life. One of the ways I think is the fact that you can act like who you want to become today, in the present. I feel like so often there's this perceived disconnect between the person that you want to become and the person that you are today, and that those people are two inherently different things. I think you instead need to be the person that you want to become today. Act like that person, do the things that that person would do, say the things that that person would do. And ultimately, that's the path to becoming the person that you want to become. For me, I struggle with this. In starting work, there are certain career ambitions that I want to have. There's a certain person that I want to become. But I recognize I'm not that person today, and I think that's fair. But I think where the danger lies is that you feel like you can't be moving in that direction yet because you're not ready, because you need to pick up more skills, get to know more people, and do more things before you're even capable and ready, and it's acceptable for you to go on that path. I think you need to do the skills, work on the skills, do the things that that person would do, and that is the most natural path to get in there. Another way that has come up is in public speaking. When I first started my role, I think it'd be fair to say I was a little bit intimidated by some of the people that I was working with. And that impacted the conversations that I was having. I feel like I was really failing my communication. I would go as far as to say that some of these conversations felt really awkward. And it wasn't until I had a lesson with a public speaking coach that I realized I was being too caught up in the past. I had a first initial bad conversation, and in the next one, I wanted to prove myself otherwise. I wanted to show that I was capable of having good conversations. But that didn't go that way because I kept thinking about all the stuff that had gone wrong previously and being super mindful of that so that I wouldn't make those mistakes here. And as counterintuitive as it is, that made my conversations worse. And every time I was doing that, and these bad conversations were just spiraling one into the other, until it felt like I lost all my communication skills entirely. And that's exactly what I said to my coaches when I first started. I said I felt like I had lost all my communication skills and I wasn't capable at all. But just that one little shift to be a little bit more present so that I was listening to the words that my counterpart was saying, and I was picking up on the tonality and understanding and feeling the emotions that came with those words and out of their mouth, so that I could then respond appropriately, has made all the difference. I think it's gone so far. I still have a long ways to go and more areas that I can improve on, but just that one little thing, forgetting about the past, not thinking about the future, which is thinking about how you respond, and just focusing on what's happening right now. A few weeks ago, I took a yoga class, and this came up there as well. The yoga instructor put us in a pigeon pose, which is kind of just a stretching pose, and she told us to lie down and said, we'll be holding this position for 2 minutes. And before moving on and starting the timer, she said, remember how that made you feel. Remember how that made you feel. And I thought that was really powerful and useful because being present isn't just about that feeling. I'm feeling very happy right now. I'm feeling very sad right now. I'm feeling very excited right now. Taking a step deeper, it's what made you feel like that. Being cognizant of the things that influence you, those drivers. Here, for some people, maybe they're very flexible, and to them, maybe there wasn't a very strong feeling. Maybe to someone, first yoga class, as it was for mine, it could be very daunting and scared, and 2 minutes could feel like such a long time. I think it's such a powerful thing because when you take that next step of being present, you can then recognize how to get there in the future. You know, take being happy, for example, or any positive emotion. You recognize that you're happy. That's great. But then if you take it one step further, you recognize, what are those things that make you happy? Was it, you know, being with your friends? Was it going out and having a good time? Was it playing sports, working out, doing this? And on the flip side, any negative emotion, take sadness. You recognize that you're sad. Okay, then you take it one step further and you recognize what made you sad. And hopefully, I guess the goal there is that you can recognize the things to help transform you from one state to another. Ultimately, if you're sad, you recognize you're sad, and you can cut out the things that make you feel that way. And then a third step ultimately is doing the things that make you feel good, because ideally you've recognized what those things are. I think this is why keeping a journal is so cool, because the journal is literally what you feel in the present. And it forces you to verbalize what those things are. You know, you might be feeling a good emotion, but what is that good emotion? Is it just happy? I think that term is really broad. You know, it might be an excitement for meeting that friend that you haven't seen in a while. Be specific so that you know what those things are. And then 4 months later, it's like you get to time travel back into that feeling. Anyways, those are just some of the thoughts this week. If you guys made it this far, thank you. You know, that support means a lot to me. This has been a cool way for me to just share some of the things that I'm going through, some of the thoughts that I had in the past. There's still a lot in here, but I feel like some of the stuff isn't necessarily ready to talk about until I go through some of the experiences myself so I can connect them and make sense. Anyways, this has been such a helpful way for me to share thoughts. So for you guys, definitely don't be intimidated to share some of your own as well.